Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery. In our video studio today, wanted to tell you about the Wicked Ridge Invader M1 decock crossbow. So that decock, that's important. We'll tell you about that in a second. So what we're looking at here is a 33-inch crossbow, and it's going to be about 17¼ inches from outside of the cam to outside of the cam. In the cocked position, it's going to draw down to 9½ inches wide. So super compact crossbow from Wicked Ridge. And as I like to do, I like to know what these things weigh that you're carrying. I do have the 10-point ProView 400 scope on there. This is the scope that this crossbow comes with. But let's see what we got for weight. With the scope, 8.2, 8.3 pounds. So that's going to be our weight for this crossbow here. And we talked, it's the Invader M1 decock. So what we have for our system here, we have the Wicked Ridge. It's our Acu-Draw system. Now, out at the range, I'm gonna show you how to use the system to cock the crossbow and to decock it. This is a system that's been in, Wicked Ridge has been using forever. Basically, I have this sled that's gonna detach. You can see it's connected by these ribbons that are stored in our Acu-Draw housing right here. This is our Acu-Draw box. This sled is gonna go up over the scope. I'm gonna connect it to the string here, and the whole system's gonna slide back. It's a real functional system that is designed so that you can't slip versus the old rope systems. You are gonna use a hand crank to draw it back. So we mentioned that the M1 decock, and what Wicked Ridge has done is they've been using this Acu-Draw system forever. And in the old days, what you had to do when you wanted, at the end of the day, you didn't shoot anything, you wanted to get your crossbow back to the resting position, you had to shoot it. That was the only way to do it. Now, what Wicked Ridge has done is they've made this a decockable system. So, and again, out at the range, I'm going to show you, but just to describe it, let's say that this were cocked, I would take my sled off, reconnect it, and then using my crank, I would be able to wind it down safely. So that is great. I always hated when I had to shoot the crossbow to decock it. It just seemed like a waste. But yeah, that's great to see that they have made the Acu-Draw now decockable. As for the rest of the crossbow, what it's going to come with, you're going to get the Wicked Ridge Match 400 arrows. It's a 20-inch arrow. And, again, we'll show you the loading and shooting process. But this arrow is going to sit in the trigger box, and it's going to rest on the rail here. That's the process for shooting this. So you want to make sure you want to get some lube on there. Just more so for your strings than for the arrow. That's going to protect your serving. Make sure there's a lot of heat that gets generated when this string comes up on the rail. Make sure you use that lube on there. Also what we have a pistol grip here. We've got a nice trigger from the folks at Wicked Ridge. Our safety is going to be right here, right now, because it's not cocked. This button would be sticking out and I would push it in. This is going to be our button that we're going to push to decock it. But right there, that's going to be your safety push to fire. All right, so that's what we got for the Wicked Ridge Invader M1 decock. Excited to show you how this system works, the cocking and the decocking, and we're going to shoot it. We're also going to do our speed test. This bow is rated to 390 feet per second. We'll shoot our arrow through the chronograph, see what kind of speeds we get. Let's get out to the range. All right, so we're out here on the range with our Wicked Ridge Invader M1 decock crossbow. And this crossbow uses Wicked Ridge's Acu-Draw cocking system. That's this sled back here, as we call it. So it has kind of a unique system for how you cock and decock. And what we're gonna do to start is right in here, there's a gray button. That gray button in there is kind of a gear button. That's you press that in to release some of the gears. So to start, I have to reach in there. It's a little bit touchy with this crossbow, but I reach in, press that down, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this black knob counterclockwise until it stops. Okay, right there. What that did is it released my sled. So now my sled is free floating. I bring it down, and you're gonna have right here, these contact points, this is what's gonna capture the string. So I'm gonna go over my scope and position it right there like that. So now my sled is in position and I am ready to cock the crossbow. So it starts coming back. And now it's mostly silent. It's not totally silent, but it doesn't click. Just a little bit of noise. Actually, if you do it slow, it is silent. It makes no noise. But, you know, anytime during the process, I can let go of the handle. If I wanted to, I could back it back down. We're gonna keep cocking. So I'm coming all the way back, and there's two things that are gonna happen. Right here, this knob, we're gonna hear a click, and this button is gonna pop out. That tells us we're cocked, so watch for that. Right there. So that tells me that we have the string back as far as it's supposed to go. Now, to take pressure off of the straps, I want to back wind 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I'll remove that out. Now I need to get that sled out of the way. So now I am cleared to remove the sled. I'm just going to push that forward, up and over, return it to its seated position there. And now I have to come, you know, I have my sled seated. Now I'm coming back here. I'm going to turn this forward until it gets tight. Right there. Okay. So now I am ready. And what that did is it seats the sled. You know, when we removed the sled and put it back in position, it was kind of free floating. Now it's in there snug. You're not going to worry about it falling out. So that's what turning that collar did. So now you're ready to load the crossbow and hunt. We're not going to do that. We're going to pretend that it's the end of the day. And so now I want to decock this crossbow. So just like we did at the beginning, we're going to come around to the gear button, the little gray button that's right in there, and we're going to press that down, and I'm going to wind this backwards, this knob, until it stops. Okay, and now I can remove my sled, and I'm going to reattach it. So I come around to the front, and once you get into this position, it will kind of seat itself. And you can see right here, this little brass piece. That is what's going to be capturing the string when it comes forward. You can see the string keeps going back into the trigger, but this right here, that's what you want to have on both sides. You want to make sure that's in there. And the sled just fits in there naturally. That's the position it wants to go to anyway. All right, now to start the decock process, I'm going to come right up here. You can see my decock button. I'm going to push that in. Push that in. Now I take my handle, put it into position, and I'm going to wind it forward until I feel pressure pick up. What I'm doing is I'm getting pressure back onto the decock mechanism. And once I feel that pressure on there, then I can start the decock process. I can let it down. Nice and easy, and remember, as we mentioned, I can let it go at any point. Nothing's gonna happen. And now, Crossbow is decocked. All right, so for loading the Wicked Ridge Invader M1 decock, you're gonna have your match 400 arrow here, and you can see I got 2 orange and 1 white. The white one, it even says this vein down. So I'm gonna slide that in. The vein's gonna drop into the slot, just like that. And all I'm gonna do is push back until it doesn't move any farther. And then I know that the arrow is seated. So now we're gonna shoot over our Garmin chronograph here. We're gonna get our speed test. So, got our safety right here. Push to fire. Let's see what we get. All right, 370.3 feet per second. That's pretty good. That's pretty fast. And what I'll say on the trigger here is that once you go to fire, there is no play in the trigger. However, it does take some pressure to get that thing before it does fire. Clean break. There's no real vibration that comes from this crossbow. Loudness. I never know how to describe loudness for crossbows. To me, inherently, I think they all are fairly loud. So it's kind of on the scale of crossbows. Is this louder than other crossbows? I'm gonna say this isn't any louder than other crossbows. Again, as I said, to me, I think they are all kind of loud. But that being said, 370 feet per second, that arrow's screaming out of there. It's a nice shooting crossbow. The trigger, I was able to stay on my target there through the shot. With the Acu-Draw, I like that this is now a decockable. For a long time, the Acu-Draw crossbows were not decockable. So this is just a great, Wicked Ridge. They've been upping their game there. This is a great one. So if you want to see the Wicked Ridge Invader M1 decock on our website, be sure to click the link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. As always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.